G'day, this is Captainoob, and this is a Westech combat rifle. It is a NIF-bashed version of the combat rifle, featuring the animations from the handmade rifle from the Nuka World DLC, so there's a hard requirement there, featuring different vanilla game sounds for the different calibers that are loaded into this thing, which there are a few, which interestingly affect the weapon's performance in ways that we will explore during this video. This weapon being mostly made up of vanilla game assets definitely gives it that lore plausible tick if you are interested in that sort of thing, and the lore behind it is, and I'm gonna make this up, well, you see, before the outbreak of the Great War, during the Resource Wars, the US military, the government contracted several different defense contractors to build them a rifle that will be able to chamber many different cartridges, you see, because resources were scarce during that time. So building a weapon that was able to chamber multiple different types of ammunition without any major retooling that would be required is pretty advantageous. So you can kit out this thing to be in multiple different combat roles and it'll be fairly effective. Eventually, though, Westech didn't get the contract, but that's okay. They were doing plenty of other stuff for the government to keep the funding rolling in. And look, compared to most of the stuff that Westech were doing, this is probably one of the least heinous things they were doing, like building weapons for the US military. That's like nothing. That's like helping an old lady across the street. That's building weapons for the US military versus pushing her into a truck. That's the super mutant things that they were doing. And the weapon that the Westech combat rifle lost the contract to is known as the vanilla game combat rifle, which was much simpler to produce, had fewer moving parts, and generally more favorable in the reliability thing. It can chamber the exact same amount of rounds, although there was only prototypes of the 5.56 weapons, and if you look around, you can only find them in the island coast of Maine for some reason, but that's how it works. I can't figure out whether modders love or hate the combat rifle, because there's been a few NIF-bashed versions of the combat rifle, so either A, it's not good enough and people want to change it, or B, they want to expand upon the design. But I don't see the blatant hate for the combat rifle online that you see for the big assault rifle. And by the way, if you don't like the vanilla game assault rifle, you're an insipid cretin with no taste. Okay, attachment time, let's begin. First of all, you've got the receivers. It's basically got the same receivers as your combat rifle, but there's no advanced receiver, which in the combat rifle's case is the 308 conversion. So the strongest semi-auto is the calibrated powerful, and your powerful auto is your strongest powerful auto. And your powerful auto is your strongest automatic receiver. So we'll throw that one on and move over to the barrels. So there's a few different types of barrels. There's short ones, long ones, and ported versions of each. There's also an integrally suppressed barrel. That's not spelled right. You're gonna have to fix that one. But yeah, you get the same range out of this thing as you would with a short barrel, so it's much better just to put a longer barrel on and a suppressor if you want to keep some of that range stat going. The ported barrel compared to the light barrel gives you more accuracy, but obviously it's slightly heavier, but we're not concerned about weight, so long ported barrel is the way to go. The stocks are next. You get this wire stock thing here. You can have a full stock, marksman stock, which is more wood furniture on that with a little bit of a cheek rest there. That one looks more polymer, and then this recoil compensating stock, which gives it the same sort of texture as the rest of the rifle, particularly in the receiver in the barrel areas. It almost looks like a scar stock, so that's kind of cool. Next, we have the magazines. Now, this is where you can change what this particular rifle is chambering. So you got the 45s that you see right now, including small, medium, and large mags, quick eject variants of that. You'll see that with the rest of the calibers as well. This thing can be chambered in 5.56 and also in 308. So you can have this battle rifle spec, assault rifle spec with these intermediate cartridges, or PDW spec with these little 45 bullets. And you'll also note that the magazine sizes change accordingly, so that's some pretty good attention to detail. Although you could probably get away with this same magazine firing the 5.56s or 308s, because, I mean, I don't know, does that seem a little bit short for a 5.56 round? I don't know, maybe the rifle's big, but no, it looks about the same size as a combat rifle, but I'm nitpicking here, so let's make a decision about what this thing's firing. So with these big bullets, you'll get a rate of fire penalty, but a big damage boost. With this large quick eject 308 mag, we're doing 150 damage, which is, that's okay, but the DPS suffers quite greatly. If we use a 5.56, it'll get less damage per shot, but slightly higher DPS, so missed shots are going to be less punishing when using this thing because you've got more rapid follow-up shots. You've got 45s, which, according to this, hey, the range is the same with all the calibers. That shouldn't be. The 308s should carry their damage way further than the 45s, just because they're much heavier and they're backed by way more powder. But okay, that's an interesting damage or balance thing that they've done. But yeah, it looks like you want to just go for maximum DPS here, and that is going to be the 45. So I guess we're not going to have this thing in battle rifle spec, even though I really want to. But sure, we'll do it like that. Next, we've got the sights. You have standard sights, the glow sights for that, which give you a little bit of a glowy bit with the front ring there. That's all you get. And then short scopes, see-through variants of that, as well as medium and long. And there's also night vision version of the scopes, and one solitary reflex sight, which is this tiny little glass that you see, very unobstructive to your view, but I don't know, maybe it's a little bit too much COD Advanced Warfare for my taste, but sure, we'll use it. Why not? Next, we've got the muzzles. You've got a bayonet there, which reduces your range. That's just what the vanilla game does, but I still think that's kind of cringe, but I suppose it works for balancing purposes. A muzzle brake for recoil control, and that is a big muzzle brake on the front of that. You better believe that recoil is going to be stopped. And also a suppressor. That'll boost our damage thanks to your ace operator, so we'll throw it on. Reduce our range a little bit, but we can make up for that in terms of raw damage output, so that's fine. One legendary effect provided by legendary modification. Skip over that one, and now you get an extraneous little barrel cover thing. You can have a standard, vented, heat triad, which is the same one from a combat shotgun, repurposed very masterfully here. I do quite like the look of that. There's also this carry handle thing as well. Why not? Give it a little bit of that foul appearance, I suppose. Wait, did the foul have a carry handle? I think it did, you know. But anyway, that's all of our customization for the West-Tech rifle. I'll make a couple other variants of these things, and then we can get started shooting stuff, and we'll see how she goes. So the West-Tech combat rifle is meant to show up where you might find the combat rifles, uses the same level list. So I'm guessing there's a chance that a combat rifle might roll as a West-Tech rifle, but I've been through 3 shops, and this is probably because my level list is so filled up with other weapons, but I wasn't able to recover one from any of these shops. I went to Clearers, Arturos, and now I've even resurrected Cricket for it, and I haven't been able to find one, so it's either a bug and you can't get it through your leveled list means, or I just haven't been lucky enough to find it. Results may vary. Okay, and we're back. Immersive Gunners Plaza awaits, but first, let's take a quick look at our West-Tech combat rifle. So this is what it looks like in first person. You'll note the reflex sight actually gives you a lot more zoom than what I'm used to, and if you go over to a short scope, like, the amount of zoom is fairly similar, but you don't have anywhere near the sight housing and screen blockage that you'd get with a short scope. This is a see-through version, by the way, and well, there's a lot in the way there. There's only a very narrow port where I can actually see my targets, and there's some mosquitoes being shooed off by the gunners, but I'll take a quick look at the others. But in third person, they look like this. Note the reload animation on them. Note the reload animation on them being a handmade rifle with the right-hand animations, and the sounds that we hear now, that's 10mm sounds for the 45s. We go over to the suppressed 308 version. It is something like the handmade rifle with suppressors, which is similar size of bullets to the big Russian 7.62 versus 308s. And this one is, again, it's a 45 caliber, but short barreled and very compact, with even a bayonet at the front. Sounds like automatic 10mm pistol to me. And lastly, we've got the 5.56 one. This one's still automatic, but I've made it for more of a medium range roll. This one appears to have the same sound as a unsuppressed combat rifle. So, interesting setup of sounds. I would have done things a little bit differently there. I think I would have used the standard combat rifle sounds. Perhaps pitch them up a little bit, just so it sounds a little bit different. But I can respect the creative vision on that one. But let's begin. I think we'll go sniper status first. There's the reload animation. Now I'm wondering, I mean, this is probably a given, but the hitman animations for the right-handed animations, like with the semi-auto, sometimes two fangs. And did I just annihilate my entire AP bar in one shot? No. It sort of went away. That's weird. Anyways, we'll just I guess we'll just shoot them normally. And a headshot is enough to kill these guys at range. And okay. I don't know what it is about holding this rifle, but for some reason it's a no-no when it comes to VAFs. I might have to look at that, but I'll be honest, I don't think that we need it at the moment. This thing hits surprisingly hard, and since you get rapid follow-up shots, well, if you get sneak criticals, then it is lights out for anyone that you hit, particularly if you get headshots at them, and that's an easy target I could have struck there. Finished now. We successfully defended ourselves quite well here. That was a very easy little first section for stealthing, but yeah, so far so good. So let's move in a little bit and utilize our automatic one with the reflex sight. Check out that recoil animation. There's a bit going on here, but so far we're kind of steamrolling everything, which... Huh. There's something about this weapon. It's hitting a lot harder than what I could have possibly predicted. Like, what's going on here? What is... 167, yet hitting for 238. That guy's dead. I don't know what's going on here. Something's a bit fishy. We're definitely killing everything super easy, and it's way more bite than what the damage numbers show, which is strange because I should be hitting them for about half of the damage is what the damage card shows me, or the weapon card shows me, but I'm getting much more. And that's before you even factor in enemy weapon or damage resistance from their armor. These guys are kitted out in combat armor, so I don't know what's going on here. There's something fishy about this thing. I would say that it is definitely overperforming, so we'll go over to something a little bit different. Hell, even the close quarters one, which, you know, doesn't have ace operator, still shreds. The recoil animation, a little bit much. We'll go for some bashing, why not? Use that bayonet. Roll that crit. One of these days. Anytime you're ready. While we're young. Before Christmas, please. Is it happening? Okay, fetch is not happening. We'll just shoot them instead. But yes, if you don't like the recoil animations as they are, third person is the way to go. Just ignore the glitchy hair. This one doesn't have any physics about it, but yes, it's kind of cool. Is that the crux? Is it the range stat that's hurting me? I think it is. So if I attack them from this far out, my damage is dropping off to a point where that's more in line with what I was expecting. For some reason, these guys are level 1. Why is that? Is that why I'm getting all this extra damage on them? Because they're squishy? Or there's some sort of... Actually, to my knowledge, there's no like damage like changes or penalties depending on level. Generally, when you see a skull on your enemy, you're not doing enough damage to them to do anyway, because the gap between enemy tiers is pretty big. Not as big as Skyrim though. That's something you notice when playing Skyrim. The difference between a... Really? You're gonna punch me? The difference between a bandit and a bandit outlaw is much higher than a raider and a raider scum. It's like 9 levels in Skyrim. It's like 4 levels, I think, in Fallout 4. So it's weird. Anyways, so game mechanics discussion aside, this thing kind of crushed everything, and I still don't know what's going on with this thing using up the AP quickly. Yeah, check it out. When I aim down sights, the AP just deletes itself. I don't know what's happening. I'm perplexed. Anyways, I guess we'll move on and we just won't use VAFs. By the way, we're using a different outfit. This one's Vitor Wardrobe 9, I think. Urban top with Vitor Wardrobe 9 shorts. It says Star Lab if you're wondering, down the bottom there. Now, considering what we served up on those gunners just before, this one should be a cakewalk because, yeah, 600 damage. That's pretty nice for a sneak critical. But unfortunately, for me, I gotta deal with all these guys and bye-bye AP. This thing is just allergic to VAFs. Either that or the mod authors decided to stop my cheesing and then decided to put in this outrageous penalty. But anyways, now we can shoot this guy. Let ammo capacity go. 40 is about the same as your standard combat rifle. So it's the same sort of ammunition that this thing fires. The 45 rounds for your autos. So it just astounds me that there's no range penalty to keep that slightly balanced. Okay, let's try regular VATs now. Very strong indeed. Probably don't need to use these criticals. I think we're fine without. Rude. didn't even have to move for that last section of the kill. But yes, that's an absolute shred job. I don't know whether this thing is supposed to be balanced to, you know, work with the standard combat rifles. I'm not seeing that now. This is definitely a cut above. This is proper endgame potential. This is leaps and bounds beyond even the handmade rifle, which is the strongest auto rifle that Bethesda would offer you in the Nuka World DLC. So it's interesting. Okay, so the Swan dropped a relentless assault rifle. Here it is in first person. Complain about it elsewhere. Won't have your insipidness. But when you use VAFs in this thing and aim down sights, it doesn't eat up the AP. So this is a problem for the West-Tech combat rifle then, isn't it? Okay, so I found out it's the animations that do it, not the weapon itself. So I've got the standard handmade animations now with the charging handle on that side, ejection port on the correct side still. But if I enter VAFs like this, aim down sights, my AP doesn't get eaten up. So isn't that nice? If you can enjoy these animations, you'll have a real powerful VAFs weapon. I've checked the damage and it's still a little bit sus, but at least my AP is going to stay around if I aim down sights when I'm not using the animations. Okay, let's try more of a medium range approach because I haven't done much for this one. And look, there goes my AP again. Gotta look into that. But we'll just keep plugging away at these enemies. By the way, since it's a see-through scope, if you don't want all of that zoom in and you still want to aim down sights, just go in third person. See, that's more what I was expecting for the damage. I mean, it's out of range, and we're not going to get that much anyway, but still. Alright, now he's a little bit closer. Let's hit him up a little bit. Add a crit to the mix just to see how we go, and so far, so good. Those headshots are definitely ripping him apart. We're seeing this weapon without ace operated now, and it's still holding its own, but this is more grounded. Go back over to this press one and... Has it got like a higher rate of fire than the weapon's letting on? I'm not really sure. That's a sniper knockdown. Oh great, we can keep him nice and locked down with this then. Provided he doesn't like teleport away because his physics are all weird. Why not use a little bit of that? So we'll get some of these crits back. If we get another knockdown while this happens, so be it. Ow. That was a surprisingly light hit. Maybe he usually gets headshots and that's why he does so much damage, but you'd think after mutation it'd be almost a one-shot kill, but let's not test whether that's true or not. There we go. Managed to get VAFs going there. Oh, of course, it doesn't work. It works fine unless I'm aiming down sights and then goodbye. Okay, well, that's interesting, but yep, Mr. Wendigo is dead, and for our troubles, we've got a powered Disciples metal right arm, and there's some nonsense going on down there. They found the Mirelurks. No, the gunners are actually out there. I've already killed enough gunners, so we'll just take a couple of pot shots, and that's all the Minuteman's gonna do for you. Ah, yep, there's the Toothangin. I don't know what happens or why it does that, but for some reason you just fire that extra shot sometimes. You saw it now just again and again. Good old DPS bugs. Very strong. It's a feature, not a bug. It's like a zero perk from Borderlands. Look at that idiot getting irradiated. Yeah, you better go down. Well, I guess we're committed to this now. We're just going to keep on sniping. What happened to that guy's arm? I didn't blow it off, did I? No, it's just completely missing. There's a giant hole. I think he'd be more distressed if I blew off his arm, I think, because he was running around like nothing happened. And old mate with a rocket launcher over there. Got no idea. That one went right above. And I guess he's out of rockets because now he's charging at me with a stick. I suppose this is why they fill their ranks with synths these days, because this is embarrassing. They all got those invisible heads because they would have come off their stealth boy in the game and doesn't know what to do with them. Okay, well that was a little bit of a shooting gallery. Let's go on to one more monster and we'll call it a video. Under the cloak of darkness, we're going to make the stealth commando approach work. Firstly, we must take the little minion death claws, because they're the ones that sneak up on you. I mean, kinda. We're getting snake criticals. Like 26 damage for all of that? Are we certain? Am I getting a shit ton of unlisted damage? Okay, Operation Stealth didn't work, but I've got a plan, you understand. It involves getting this prick stuck on rocks. You can kick him, that's what you can do. Kick rocks. Walk on down the road, boy. Oh, there he goes. And now we're back into crit mode. So a couple of 800s there, a couple of cheeky almost 1,000 points of damage. The combat music changed. I don't know. Like, something about this weapon mod is it's hitting way harder. And all of these modded creatures, which should be... Yeah, they're level 150, so it's not like a level thing. That might have just been a visual bug, but for some reason we've decided that we're just going to be extra powerful today. Playing the game on easy mode. Okay, he's completely buggered off, so we'll go after the minions. Wrecked. Even up close, or as they get up close, this thing just drops mythic death claws like they're nothing. A sack of potatoes. No hit points left in those things. And now we've got Mr. Big Deathclaw cowering over there next to some mosquitoes. More of these bugs. There we go. Now he's coming a little bit closer. We'll lock in bats and just hose him down nice and slow. Add those crits when we get them. This tough old girl, she hasn't got much left in her. Okay, let's go over to this one now. This is a bad sign. Oh, okay, he did nothing. Not a good day to be a Deathclaw, as it turns out. I'd like to say that that wasn't a bug. That was the magazine kicking in there to stop me from getting absolutely crushed. But yeah, this guy will pick you up, so you're gonna keep your distance a little bit more urgently than the Wendigo. The Wendigo's got no grappling moves like the Deathclaw. Doesn't quite work for a Deathclaw of his stature though. I wonder if we're slightly better on AP like this. Yes, a little bit with the shorter barrel. Would be even better if we had the reflex sight, but hardly needed it. Are you gonna die? There we go. Okay, that one was a little bit more of a grind, but when we were sneak critting, we were just crushing everything, and those gunners, they didn't know what hit them. I didn't even know what hit them. That's how strong this thing was, and I don't know, is it the DPS is way lower than what you'd expect out of, except for that one. That one's got a strong DPS. That's more on par with a vanilla game assault rifle, which I believe sits around 1400-ish, so I'm not sure what's going on here. I might take a look in the creation kit to see if I can find anything interesting or any anomalous things that would allow it to crush so easy as it did. But yeah, well, that's it. That's the West Tech combat rifle. Definitely an endgame weapon from what I've tested here. Your results may vary. I might be having bugs in the game, but you know, Bethesda doesn't have bugs in their game. That's a myth. So if you want to see this weapon in your game, check out the link in the description. There's also a Matilda follower mod that's been out for a few years. Now you can get that, and get Matilda in your game with a vanilla hairstyle. Doesn't look quite like that. This is Vitor Wardrobe 9, I believe, so have a look around for that. Download the alternate textures, because I made the top red so it matches the rest of the normal colors. I wanted to get something red, and there was only this Christmas colored one that I used for winter last year, and this tartan one, I believe it's called, but I think it works out. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you very much for watching, guys.